経済を卒業時般若波田自称健康安保育同一細工薬者利子式食育不具意識式即税空空即税式重創業式特部尿税者利子税証拠空総不証拠不空不上不増不減税国中無式無人創業式無限意味税新意無式証拠未足無限界内し無意識外無無明薬無無明人内し無老死薬無老死人無空襲滅動無知薬無得意無常無公母大三角安弥阿弥陀佛神無定下無定下無空不音理祭天道無即行で安税小仏へ安弥阿弥陀佛クラノブタ三脈三宝大統治安弥阿弥陀税大二種税大名種税無常種税無東道種無常一切空真実無法説安弥阿弥陀種鉄種圧やでやであやであそやでおりそわた安弥神願わくはこの記憶をもって山でくり祭にを果てし
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Valley of the Judged. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me, I have three of my good brothers and sisters. We have the man with 1,000 bad jokes, including one that you thankfully didn't hear.
I can repeat it.
Joe.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here. No, but that's still a threat. I can't repeat it.
We have the Master of the Wanderer's Library, good brother Sig.
Hello, everybody. I'm back to check out this Conduit if the censor was any indication of how good this is going to be.
I mean, they had an entire video game about conduits.
Yeah, those games were fine.
And the one who is currently going through RNG hell. Good sister Tabby.
I always go through RNG hell whenever I play Persona 3.
I keep telling
you. It doesn't exist.
You could have Nekomata.
Yeah.
I do have Nekomata! Maybe that's why I'm going through hell, is because I didn't get rid of her.
No, it's because the dice gods hate you, as well as they hate everyone.
So, for context, Tab and I have this running joke that whenever her or I play any Persona game and we get the Persona Nekomata, we always end up dying somehow if we don't get to a save point, so we have concluded that Nekomata is indeed cursed.
So what you have to do to break the Nekomata curse is you have to go and immediately find an access point or a save point or something. You have to drop whatever you're doing and go save. That will break the curse for the most part until someone says it again. And so if you're playing Persona 3, the guy's like, Nekomata! And I'm like, I was having a good run.
On the other hand, imagine if you took that energy while doing the core Mega 10 games.
Ah, shit.
Okay, so straight up, like, when it comes to like SMT, I have the same bad luck when I get Nekomata. It's an instantaneous. Like with SMT 3, I would get Nekomata and I would take a step. Somehow I'd get like back attacked by like 6 freaking enemies, and I'm sitting here like I didn't even know there was back attack in this game, and then I die, and I'm like maybe I just don't get Nekomata.
Or immediately fuse it.
I did that in SMT1. I got Nekomata and I immediately fused it. I was like, I'm not doing this. Not after all this hell to get there. Nope.
Yeah. But getting back on the rails. So 2 weeks ago when we last tackled Draw Steel, we tackled the first of the classes that we're going through, that being the Censor. And I think one of the big takeaways was that we initially made the analogy of the Censor being akin to the Paladin. By the time we got finished with the Censor, the conclusion was comparing this with a standard Paladin in any other fantasy game, there is no comparison.
No, absolutely not, especially with all the ways you can build it.
My goodness. That was a hell of a start.
Mm-hmm. And going from one divine class to another, the next one that we're going to be doing is the Conduit, which, when we originally did the overview of all the classes, I had said the Conduit would be analogous to the Cleric. And I suppose in some ways it is, but knowing what we know with the Censor, if that's any indication, I am prepared to be dead wrong.
Wrath. Wrath is their heroic resource.
Yep.
How is that a cleric? Unless it's divine wrath.
That was for...
I mean, I
Wrath
played
was for
enough
the
healers
Censor.
to know that I am always building Wrath because of how stupid
Oh wait, Wrath is for the
all
Censor.
party members are.
Yeah.
Wrath is for the Censor. Well, my bad. Hold on.
I
thought I read properly.
As I have said on multiple occasions, you do not need to have blonde hair to have a blonde moment.
You know what? I am just very... It has been a whole thing today.
I know.
As opposed to a half thing, or even a 3/4 thing.
We could just blame the lack of Juzumaru, all right? I just needed it. I couldn't find it, and now my brain's gone.
Well,
Or a blue-eyed thing.
We can stop by Lost and Found later. Anyways, no, it talks about the Conduit being someone who heals and buffs your allies while debuffing your foes and smiting them with divine magic. But I know that the class art here is supposed to be a dwarf Conduit, but something about the design here makes me think that this person would fit in perfectly well in Masters of the Universe. I don't know why.
I mean, I can definitely see it.
He also looks like he works for frickin' Eater of Worlds, Marvel. Galactus. He looks like a herald.
Yeah, the Jack Kirbyisms are strong with this. But unlike the sensor, you have one stat that's locked instead of two. Your intuition starts at 2, and then you can do one of the arrays for the rest. And your potency values are going to be based on your intuition. Starting stamina is 18. So only 3 less than Conduit. Stamina gained at second and higher levels is 6. And your recoveries are 8. So, and for skills, you get any 2 skills from the interpersonal or lore skill groups. If you want to do a quick version of this, pick Read Person and Religion.
Mm-hmm.
So right out of the gate, you have to pick a deity and domain. Once you pick your deity, choose 2 domains from their portfolio. The 2 domains you pick make up your subclass. And your choice of domains will determine a lot of the features that you get. The quick build is choosing Add-in and choosing the life and protection domains. But their heroic resource is piety. And already we're dealing with something different, and this is going to be a theme throughout the rest of these. So piety is what you're going to be using for your spells and the like. And instead of it being a gradual sewer bar that increases, you have a different approach. At the start of a combat encounter or some other stressful situation tracked in combat rounds, you gain piety equal to your victories. At the start of each of your turns during combat, you gain 1d3 piety. Additionally, you can gain more piety by praying to the gods, but beware. Doing so can easily draw their ire, as the gods hate to be annoyed. Before you roll to gain piety at the start of your turn, you can pray, no action required. If you do, your roll gains the following additional effects. If your roll is a 1, you gain additional piety, but you have angered the gods. You take psychic damage equal to 1d6 plus your level, which can't be reduced. If the roll is a 2, you gain 1 additional piety. If the roll is a 3, you gain 2 additional piety and can activate a domain effect of your choice. At the end of an encounter, you lose any piety that you have.
Makes sense.
So, Wrath was a gradual build-up that could go faster if you're dealing with marked opponents. This is a case of roll the dice and see what happens.
That, and it feels like the gods have more of a tangible presence in this game, I would say, as opposed to some others.
Mm-hmm. But also, I do have to appreciate the Rubik's Cube focus we have here. Though that's a 4x4 Rubik's Cube, so no thank you.
Oh, that's one of my niece's favorites, actually. She got bored with the 3x3s.
Oh. But depending on your choice of domains, you have additional ways to get piety. As well as an additional effect if you do prayer. I.e., whenever you activate a domain effect by praying for piety, you can choose one of your domains and have that domain's prayer effect take effect immediately. Let's see. Creation, you gain 2 the first time an encounter that a creature within 10 squares uses an area ability. Its prayer effect, you summon the forces of creation and create a wall of stone within 10 squares whose size is 5 plus your intuition score. The wall lasts for until the end of the encounter. You've got instant cover. The death domain, you gain 2 piety the first time in an encounter that a creature within 10 squares who isn't the minion is reduced to 0 stamina, or the first time in an encounter that a solo creature becomes winded. Its prayer effect, you inflict a curse on up to 2 enemies within 10 squares of you. Each target takes corruption damage equal to twice your intuition.
Okay.
And keep in mind, the prayer effect is in addition to praying to try and get additional piety. But the Fate Domain prayer effect I find particularly interesting, where you can force someone to have either a tier 1 or tier 3 outcome on their next power roll.
The Fate Domain.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But we had an emphasis on the storm deity last time, so let's see what we got for that. You gain 2 piety at the first time in an encounter that an enemy within 10 squares is force moved. Doesn't have to be moved by you, just moved by somebody, and if there's a sensor around, that movement's gonna happen. And for effect, each enemy within a 3 square cube within 10 squares takes lightning damage equal to twice your intuition score. So you're building up piety and hitting people with lightning.
Twofer.
Mm-hmm. But obviously I'm not going to go through all of the piety effects with the domains, but you get the idea on what it's doing. And keep in mind, depending on your god, you have 2 of them. You have two domains. If I recall correctly, the censor only had one. The censor only has 1 domain.
Which makes sense. Like, this is like the casting version.
That, and it appears the Conduit does not have subclasses.
I mean, I think these are the subclasses.
Yeah, the domains pretty much are that. Let's see, beyond that, you do get a domain feature. And there are quite a few of them. Let's see. Let's look at the war domain. I've done war domain plenty. That is Sanctified Weapon. As a respite activity, you can bless a weapon. Any creature who wields the weapon gains a +1 bonus to roll damage with abilities that use the weapon. Lasts until you finish another respite. Okay, so spiritual weapon. is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly fits.
Mhm.
Your domain feature also grants you a skill from one of the chosen domains. So for war, you get Sanctified Weapon and you get a exploration skill. But you also get the Ray of Wrath ability, which can be used as a ranged free strike. This is basically this game's equivalent to Lance of Fate. Range is 10. It is dealing intuition-based damage. You can have it do holy damage, so it's optional to do that. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You also get one of 3 triggered actions. Or not 3, 2. What am I thinking? Either Word of Guidance or Word of Judgment. Word of Guidance, when the target makes an ability roll for a damage-dealing ability, you give the power roll for that an edge, or you can spend 1 piety to give it double edge. Word of Judgment, if they would take damage from an ability that uses a power roll, the power roll takes a Bane, or spend 1 piety to do a double Bane. So the triggered action here is really a question of do you want to focus on buffing your allies or debuffing enemies?
Both valid options.
Indeed.
Yep. And you also get a prayer. You can change your prayer along with your ward, we'll get to that in a minute, by praying to the god as a respite activity. And it doesn't seem, and when it comes to the prayers that you can do, it does not appear that any of them are tied to a particular domain.
Oh, we're halfway there. Whoa, on a prayer.
Though I can see why the quick build suggestion is Prayer of Distance, since that gives +2 to your ranged magic abilities. Which means, for example, Ray of Wrath would be range 12 instead of range 10. Though I could see some people taking Prayer of Soldier's Skill just so that they can go more traditional cleric with weapons and all that.
I mean, a big stick still hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Big stick.
I mean, prayer of speed. Just saying, speedy turtle.
Yep.
Oh God! Why do you have to bring back Kiza into this? Even though Kiza was great.
Kiza was great. That's why I had to bring up Kiza and her freaking 70 speed turtle.
Yeah. You also get a Conduit ward, and again during prayer you can change this. The quick build suggestion is Bastion ward, which just gives you a +1 to saving throws. But a lot of the other wards are about buffing an adjacent, either buffing an adjacent creature or debuffing. Actually, I think most of them are debuffing when you get damaged by an adjacent creature. Like Quickness ward, whenever a adjacent creature deals damage to you, you can shift the number of squares equal to your intuition score after the damage is dealt.
So you have a backslide even though you get hit.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Although, Sanctuary ward is interesting here.
Oh?
When another creature damages you, and it doesn't have to be adjacent, that creature can't target you with a strike until you harm them or one of their allies, or until the end of their next turn.
Spirit ward's interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's
corruption damage.
Yeah. And then we have conduit abilities. Starting with the signature, you get 2 from the list. So either Blessed Light, Drain, Holy Lash, or Lightfall. As well as a few more. Sacrificial Offer, Staggering Curse, Warrior's Prayer, and Wither. I do think of the ones here, there's plenty of interesting ones to go with. Drain is an interesting approach. Deals corruption damage, and you or one ally within distance can spend a recovery. And I feel like a lot of people would use it as a way to do melee attacks using intuition. But a lot of what I'm seeing so far gives me the hint that conduits are not meant to be in melee. At least not as much as, say, sensors. But if someone just wants a straightforward thing, there's Staggering Curse as an option. Deals holy damage and they slide. Which Staggering Curse would combo really well with someone who has a Storm Domain.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think Call Down the Thunder would fit that a little better.
Well, Call Down the Thunder is a heroic ability, not a signature.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of that, let's see, Call Down the Thunder. That's 3 Piety. Deals damage within a 3 cube within 10. I think they wrote it as a cube just to illustrate, even if you're flying, you're still getting hit. But it does sonic damage and pushes. You can push each...
There's the Font of Wrath.
Yep, you can push each willing ally the same distance, ignoring stability. Which I feel that's a great way to make sure that you don't have the problem of friendly fire. Now, of course, if an ally refuses to be moved, well, that's another story.
I would say the Conduit thus far, especially reading some of these abilities, is more akin to like a Divine Tactician. Not only can their abilities damage enemies, but they can reposition allies as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But pretty much. I mean, they are definitely leaning cleric, but this is far more of for those who do the blaster kind of cleric rather than the upfront type.
Pew pew.
So not the cleric from Hexen.
No. Though some priest builds in WoW might fit the bill.
Mm-hmm.
I like the cleric from Dungeon Fighter Online.
Oh, priest in Dungeon Fighter
Priest
Online
is so good.
Wonderful.
I like it, but
I actually like punching people.
That one wouldn't fit this bill either.
No, probably not.
Crusader? Just question mark?
No, I don't even think that would fit, because you'd still have to have a giant fucking cross on your back.
You know what? I'm just gonna throw my Inquisitor at you or my Avenger at you and be good with it.
No, I'm just gonna set down my totem and just start throwing hands.
So you play monk too.
You know what? I'm just gonna slice your faces off with my scythe. It's fine.
You know, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. In terms of the DFO entry that might fit. I was gonna say mate. A lot of the female priest options in DFO might fit the conduit here.
I'm trying to remember
and
which.
shaman.
Yeah, shaman.
Shaman.
They're the ones that use the rosary, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And Hydra says,
Man,
"Fuck the
nothing like
Inquisitors."
smacking enemies with large wooden balls.
Oh.
The Inquisitor. That's all it is. We slash people in the face with scythes. It's fine.
Yep. But all of the abilities we've seen so far are AoE or ranged. And actually, I don't think cleric is what Conduit is going for. There is one that I think is more apropos. Let me see. I think this is more Invoker from fourth.
You know, that actually works.
Invokers were divine controllers.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that whereas the cleric was more of a leader. I mean, I could also bring up the favored soul from 3.5, but I'd really rather not. I don't feel like going back to that.
Oh, what's wrong with 3.5? I'm not even going to continue that.
Yeah.
Like, it has a special place in my heart, but at the same time, I am not wearing rose-colored glasses. I know all the problems with that system.
Mm-hmm. And I don't have. It is very fun. It is very funny to me seeing people have collective hallucination regarding 3E. Like everybody was talking about how it was the best system, and I'm like, you didn't have that energy back in 2000. I was there. Those same motherfuckers were talking about how they didn't like the increased healing and how it was turning D&D into Diablo. Yes, I am fully aware of the irony of that statement. But see, for heroic abilities, you do get 1/3 piety one, and the ones we've got here are pretty nice. Pretty much all of them are ranged. Okay, all but one of them is ranged. Nope, that one's ranged too.
Like, for the most part, considering their purpose to buff and debuff as well as heal, like, it makes sense that they are a mid-range to long-range controller.
Mm-hmm. See, a similar thing with the 5 piety ability. The quick build suggestion they bring up is Curse of Terror, which does holy damage
Not
and
the
inflicts
Curse of
frightened.
Terror. It's terror time again.
But at second level, you do get a perk. You also get the Lists of Heaven. Whenever you allow another creature to spend a recovery, you can also spend a recovery.
So I heal you when I heal me. Or no. I heal me when I heal you. There we go.
Yep.
I totally didn't have it backwards.
So, by the time you get second level, you'll have the domain feature from both of your domains. You have to pick one of them at first and one of them at second. And you get another heroic ability from one of your domains as well.
Wow, we expanded all the domains.
Mm-hmm. Which, let's see, the war domain, Blessing of Insight. Let's see, is a ranged maneuver. Does self and each ally. Until the end of the encounter or until you are dying, each target gains 1 surge at the end of each of your turns. Nice.
Ooh.
Though I do love that one of the
Hey,
features
look,
is...
it's the Divine Comedy.
Oh yeah, one of the original fanfics. Costs 5 piety. Is a 5 burst effect. Targets yourself and each ally in the area. Each target can choose another creature in the area, then swap places with that creature. The creature they choose must be able to fit into the space they leave, and vice versa. That would be...
So, no wall clipping.
That would be particularly nasty to use if the Conduit gets stuck in melee. Just swap, just cast that, and they're no longer in melee, but the sensor is in melee with whoever was hassling them.
Yep.
But then we have...
Obviously, that's trickery domain.
Mm-hmm. But then we have third level. You get Minor Miracle. As a respite activity, you can perform a religious ritual and beseech the gods to restore a dead creature to life. You must have at least half the creature's remains, and they must have died within the last 24 hours from an effect that isn't age-related. The creature's soul must be willing to return to life for the ritual to work. If they are not willing, you instinctively understand that as you start the respite activity and can cease it immediately. A creature with a willing soul returns to life at the end of the respite with full stamina and half their recoveries. You regain only half your recoveries at the end of the respite. So we do essentially have Raise Dead pretty early, but there's a lot more catches than just needing to get 20,000 GP worth of diamonds.
Yeah, you have to have the jibs.
Mm-hmm. You have to have the jibs, and since you're only getting half your recoveries back from that respite, you're going to be at a disadvantage for a while. Because
imagine if this is how they resurrected Frieza.
So it says half the remains. Is that like by mass or by weight?
I don't think it matters.
So what happens if they've been like dusted? Like, do we need to have at least half of that dust?
Well, Lilu was constructed from a hand.
I mean, but this one specifically says half the remains, so a single hand's not going to do it.
Yeah. But I...
Oh, that a survivor?
But then you also get one 7 piety ability. Which is so either Fear of the Gods, Saint's Raiment, Soul Siphon, or Words of Wrath and Grace.
Your saint grants your enemies a vision of pain and fills your allies with healing energy. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Although I must ask, with the Saint's Raiment, does it billow in the wind? If it does not, I will riot.
Only if you're going up against your rival and you're playing your 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon cards.
Shit. Okay.
Yep.
I'll win this time, Yugi Moto.
But fourth
And you've
level...
been saying that for years, Kaiba.
Fourth level, you get you get Blessed Domain. So whenever you gain piety from a domain feature, you gain 1 more piety, which is nice. Oh. You also increase your intuition to 3, and one of your other characteristics by 1, to a maximum of 3. You gain 1 perk and 1 skill. And you also gain another domain feature based on one of your domains. And let's see what the war has improved Sanctified Weapon. So the Sanctified Weapon does +3 damage instead of +1. But I have a feeling Tabby would pick Windwalk. If going with the Storm domain. Well, you have 5 or more victories.
Which domain?
Storm.
Storm.
Windwalk. While you have 5 or more victories, you can fly. If you can already fly, you have a +2 bonus to speed while flying.
Flying is fun, but I'm a healer at heart, so I'd probably go with like life or something. Like my domains would be very much like life and love.
I'm totally not looking at all of the fate domain stuff.
Yeah, oracular.
Like
warning.
I was looking at that.
Each time you finish a respite, you share the vague dreams of the future granted to you by the gods with allies who finish the respite with you. These premonitions help you and your allies stay alive, granting each of you temporary stamina equal to 10 plus your level that lasts until you finish a respite. But
I do like the Saint's Epiphany. At the start of a respite, you can inspire yourself or another creature taking the same respite with divine knowledge. If the target makes a project roll during this respite, they can add 1d10 plus your intuition score to the roll.
It's going to be a while before we get to how projects work, but that is going to be... It's a lot more detailed than just a collection of skill rolls. I can say that much.
I like the Aunts ability.
The what ability?
Aunts. You commune with a network of spirits. As a respite activity, you speak the name of a creature who died and isn't undead. If the creature's spirit is free and willing to speak with you, they appear and you can have a conversation with them.
Seance.
Aunts?
Aunts.
Ha! You were real proud of that one, weren't you?
Yes.
Like, nope, I'm not falling for that one. I fell for the one earlier.
You mean the one that wasn't caught on stream?
Yes.
Understandable.
But at 5th level, you gain the other domain feature that you didn't take at 4th. You also gain a 9 piety ability. So we have either Beacon of Grace, Penance, Sanctuary, or Vessel of Retribution.
Vessel of the Retribution.
Why did that sound like Broken Matt Hardy? Oh. Though I do like Penance here. If you won't kneel, the gods will make you. Deals corruption.
Yes. You look deep into their eyes and tell them to see their sins. Penance stare.
Actually, if I'm gonna make a comic book reference looking at this, it is kneel before Zod.
Kneel before Zod.
A 4 cube within 10 deals corruption damage. They are prone and they can't stand until they do a saving throw.
Yes. I will call this life alert. Because they've fallen and they can't get up.
God damn it.
Yep. At 6th level...
I am proud of that one.
Of course you are. At 6th level, you get Burgeoning Saint. You are infused with the power your deity reserves for their most worthy instruments. Gain the following benefits. You gain an edge on presence tests made to interact with other creatures. Whenever you deal damage to an enemy, you can spend a recovery. You have Corruption Immunity 10 or Holy Immunity 10, your choice. Your clothing and equipment changes in a way that reflects your status as your deity's chosen champion, such as ordinary robes turning into gold vestments, or a simple dagger becoming a wicked blade with intricate etching. Given that last one, I'd like to imagine that no matter what outfit you put on, it automatically changes to make that clear.
Yes.
Oh, here, hold on. Let me put on my magical girl outfit.
You also gain 1 crafting, lore, or supernatural perk, and a domain ability. Let's see. Going by the war ones mentioned earlier, the one there is Blade of the Heavens. A great sword streams down from the sky, threatening to pin your foe.
It's freaking Ragnarok from Golden Sun.
Yep.
There we go.
Let's see. Does 8, 12, or 16 base damage plus intuition, and inflicts prone and restrained.
Yep, that's definitely Ragnarok.
Doesn't have as much range as some of your other stuff, but
I do like the Invocation of Undoing, which is basically like P from Ultima, except it's not mass banishing, but it's a single piece of the anti-life equation.
Mm-hmm.
Not the anti-life equation.
Let's see. Deals sonic damage and pushes 3.
I like God's Machine. Nothing like a little Deus Ex Machina.
Mm-hmm. You conjure a size 2 rolling machine that appears in an unoccupied space within the distance, and the distance is 10. That machine has 50 stamina and immunity to all poison and psychic damage. It disappears at the end of the encounter if its stamina drops to 0 or if you're dying. When the machine first appears, make the following power roll once, targeting each enemy adjacent to it. And it'll do either 3, 5, or 8 damage straight. Once on each subsequent turn, you can use a free maneuver to move the machine a number of squares up to your intuition score, and then repeat the power roll.
Photon cannon!
It is...
Roll!
God's Machine here, I'd say, is a reusable bomb.
I mean, it's a rolling machine, so, like... Behold, I am going to isekai you into another world.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I summon Truck-kun.
Yep. But at 7th level, you do get a characteristic increase. Each one goes up by 1 to a maximum of 4. You also get Faithful's Reward. When you roll for Piety at the start of your turn in combat, you gain 1d3 plus 1 Piety. That's in addition to any bonuses from domains, or if you decide to pray. So you gain 1 skill. You gain a 7th level domain feature. Let's see, the war one is your triumphs are remembered. The gods allow you and your companions to bask in the glory of past successes. Whenever you finish a respite, you and any other heroes who rested with you regain 1 victory after your victories are converted to XP. This victory isn't converted to XP at the end of a subsequent respite. Though, of course, I do have to point out Thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck. Good AC/DC song.
Yep. Whenever you use an ability to do lightning or sonic damage to another creature, you gain 1 surge. Additionally, if you use an ability that force moves a creature, the force movement distance gains a bonus equal to your intuition score. Your intuition score by this point is 4. That's 4 squares of movement.
Plus whatever other movement you or your allies have.
Mm-hmm. Like, between what we saw with the Storm Domain for the Censor 2 weeks ago and this, Storm Domain is just a bully.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is turning the battlefield into its own game of pinball.
I do like the God's Library. You can gain access to information you need through prayer so that you no longer require research materials for crafting and research projects. Additionally, you add your level to project roles you make for crafting and research projects. You also have a number of skills in the lore group you don't already have, and you gain a number of skills from any other skill groups equal to the number of skills you had in the lore skill group before you gained this feature.
It makes sense.
I like the Trinity of Trickery as well.
Yeah, God's Library makes
Covenant.
sense for the knowledge domain, and Trinity of Trickery. Let's see that you gain a 9 piety ability. Hey, I'm over here. No, here, numbskull. You create 2 illusory duplicates of the target, which appear anywhere within distance. Distance is range 10. These duplicates last until the end of the encounter. On each of their turns, the target can move each duplicate up to their speed. If the target is targeted by an ability, they can use a free triggered action to switch places with a duplicate within their line of effect, making the duplicate the target of the ability instead. Whenever a duplicate takes
magic
damage...
hats.
Yep.
See, I'm looking at Covenant of the Heart and mixing it with Revitalizing Grace. If you take life and love together.
Mm-hmm.
Because Revitalizing Grace, spend any number of recoveries. Additionally, each target can end effect on themselves. And if you have that with Covenant of the Heart, each target they have 3 of them. You're bound to, and each target is teleported to unoccupied spaces within 5 squares of a willing creature you're bonded to. Basically, you could just be like, I'm teleporting you guys to me.
Again, the Conduit feels very much like a controller.
Yep.
But at
always a fun class back in City of Heroes.
Mm-hmm. And when I bring up controller, I'm mainly referring to the controller role in 4th. And for those who unfortunately skipped 4th, controllers were ones who did debuffs or AoEs. The idea being that they will control the battlefield.
Battlefield control, yeah.
Wizard was an arcane controller. Invoker was a divine controller. And there was that kind of pairing of power source and role. A lot of people who were of small mind claim that the role setup was them trying to copy the golden triangle that's seen in any MMO in the last 30 years. Which is ridiculous to me because those roles were already being done. Like the defender role is basically the tank. Fighter has always been the tank. It just didn't have it's just that in the past it didn't have abilities to force enemies to target them. No, instead the tank was just, oh, you've got more hit points. And you're also doing nothing but basic attack. And while you do have the healing effects here, something that I have noticed with the Conduit's healing is that it's in conjunction with their attacks. You're not going to be the heal bot in this system.
Not unless you really want to.
Any healer worth their salt is not going to accept being just a heal bot. No,
the heal bot was a problem in 3rd, where you almost needed to have a cleric because non-cleric healing options were shit.
Mm-hmm.
But at 8th level, you gain a perk. You gain the other domain feature you didn't pick at 7th. And you gain a 11 piety ability. So...
Well, now I have to rethink my entire thing because Divine Dragon.
And... let me...
Ooh, Bend Fate.
Yep.
Gotta go all the way back. Let's see.
So just as a
I think
reminder,
we could go creation.
Yeah, just as a reminder, when it comes to surges, the idea is you can spend three surges to do extra damage to a creature. The damage is based on your highest characteristic, which if you're playing Conduit, it's going to be intuition. Or you can spend 2 surges to increase the potency by 1 for a target if potency is a factor. And you don't keep surges between combat. So use them or lose them.
You know, even though I really like the creation domain stuff that I've been like, I was looking into, I went back and looked at the other ones, but like, I also kind of like this alacrity of the heart, as well as I like the radiance of grace thing, just because it's just this whole thing of like, some people just want to be a support character. They don't want to go in and fight in the front lines. They'd rather be, hey, you know, you want to go fight here, hit things real hard, have fun, you know. And that's kind of, I feel like you can be that you know, person who is helping while you're also being the person who could possibly kick ass if you wanted to.
But Blessing of the Blade, even if it costs 11 piety, it is quite the effect with the fact that you can give that target 3 surges every turn. And don't worry, Hydra, I will see you tomorrow. But
Hi, Hydra.
At 9th level, you get Faith's Sword. Each time you finish a respite, you can choose a willing hero ally who finished the respite with you. That ally gains the benefits of your burgeoning saint feature until you finish another respite. Additionally, you can spend piety as a free maneuver to give the hero 1 of their heroic resource for every 2 piety spent. Even if it's 2 for 1, I could see that as a way to offload piety you're not going to be using.
Not just that, but if you're having another encounter straight away, you can prepare people for battle. Like, say, the Censor, for example. You can send them in with, maybe 5 Wrath. Or less. But hey, they'd be at a good start anyway.
You also gain Ordained. Your god elevates the power flowing through you. Your characteristic scores are treated as 1 higher for the purpose of resisting potencies. Additionally, while you have 5 or more victories, you speak with the voice of your deity. You have a double edge on presence test made to influence other creatures. You also gain a domain ability. Let's see, War Gates Righteous Presence. That is a 15 wall within 10. The wall lasts until the end of the encounter or until you are dying and can be placed in occupied squares. Creatures can enter and pass through the wall. Each enemy who enters the area for the first time in a combat round or starts their turn there takes 15 damage. Wait, that's right. That's Righteous. If I had that right, Righteous Phalanx. So you're essentially It is a blade wall. But let's see, what does Storm get? Godstorm. Say 5 cube within 5 squares. Deals lightning damage and sonic damage. And a raging storm fills the area until the end of the encounter or until you are dying. At the start of each of your turns, you can move the storm up to 5 squares. On subsequent turns, while the storm is active, you can use a maneuver to make its power roll. I think we've all dealt with the Thunderbolt in Mario Kart. This is basically that.
Oh, God.
And of course, creation gets divine dragon. That's what you were distracted by earlier, Tabby.
Yes, I got really distracted. Like I scrolled too far down, and I saw divine dragon, and then I'm like, okay, well, nope, I'm out. I'm out. I gotta now figure out everything whenever it comes to this domain, just because I accidentally scrolled down one page too far.
Which it does create a dragon. The dragon has speed 6, can fly, has stability 4, 100 stamina, immunity to fire damage, and uses your characteristics. On subsequent turns, you can use a main action to command the dragon to breathe magic fire on a 3 cube within 1 square of them, which does 5, 9, or 12 fire damage. Additionally, you can use a maneuver to move the dragon up to their speed, or to make a melee weapon strike with their claw against a adjacent creature or object. The dragon can also make this strike as a free strike, which can deal 3, 5, or 8 plus intuition damage. But that, though, you'd have to... That's something you wouldn't be getting for a while, because it's at 9th level. And at 10th level, you get Avatar. You are now an avatar of your god. Whenever you use prayer, you can be affected by up to 3 prayers at once. And you can change all those prayers and your ward as a respite activity. You can also use a maneuver to activate one of your domain effects without needing to pray. Additionally, whenever you take a respite, you can open a portal to rest in the presence of your deity and bring along any allies. When you do, you can ask your deity 3 questions, which the director must answer honestly if your deity knows the answers, though they might answer cryptically or incomplete. When you finish your respite, you and your allies can appear in any location in the timescape where someone worships your deity. We had a similar thing with the Conduit, and I feel like that's going to be a approach we see with a lot of the other classes here, of being able to do this really powerful respite. Your intuition score also goes up to 5, and you can increase 1 more by 1 to a maximum of 5. You also get divine power, which is your epic resource. Each time you finish a respite, you gain divine power equal to the XP you gain. You can spend divine power on your abilities as if it were piety. Additionally, you can spend divine power as if it were piety to use any conduit abilities you don't have, as the gods answer your prayers with temporary and unique gifts. If you use a conduit ability you don't have that usually costs no piety, you must spend 1 divine power to use it. Divine power remains until you spend it. So you can use, you basically have the entire kit at your disposal to a limited degree.
Hey, I'll take it. Limited degree is better than nothing.
Yeah. Since it is dependent on you getting XP, it does mean that the higher end piety effects you're not going to be able to use as easily, but for smaller scale ones, that's going to be particularly easy to do. It ultimately depends on how many victories you get, because remember, more victories means more XP. You also gain Most Pious. When you roll for piety at the start of your turn in combat and you pray, you gain 1 additional piety. You also gain 1 crafting, lore, or supernatural perk, and 1 skill. And that more or less covers the Conduit.
I I don't like it as much as the sensor, but it does seem really fun, like, in a lot of ways.
I would say the Conduit is doing exactly what it purports to. It is essentially a divine controller. Like I said, I was comparing it to Cleric at first, but it is more accurate to compare it to Invoker. I think it is interesting that it's doing this whole A side B side approach with domains. So it really ends up being a case of what are you going to focus on first?
Mm-hmm. I mean, with some of the abilities you get, I mean, certain ones will complement each other more than others, but it's definitely, worthwhile to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the combination abilities like that. I think that it's just I personally kind of feel like it. I mean, Sensor felt like God's favorite princess, and this kind of didn't, so, in comparison, if you will. So.
I disagree with that avatar ability.
Well, like, I know the avatar ability, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. It just kind of. I like the avatar ability. I'm not gonna lie. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I like Sensor better. I like the Conduit though. I think that it has a very wide range of what it can do, which makes it a lot of fun to actually try to play around with. So, and I will still say, having a life love Conduit makes me giggle because of how much fun it actually looks like it would end up being to just sit back there and be like, go have fun storming the castle. Good voice.
Mm-hmm. And of course there is also the setup here is very wide, but the Conduit is very much for people who are going to be doing controller or support, which is why, if I'm being honest, comparing it to the sensor isn't exactly fair, because the sensor is a straight up in your face divine brawler. The Conduit is not. It is a controller. Now, as a controller, what it is I'd say it's doing that particular role pretty well. What I think is also interesting is the fact that there isn't that, owing to this drawing upon fourth, there isn't any effect that is just straight you spend a recovery. Spending a recovery is in addition to something else you're doing. So for people who really like setting up the dominoes, Conduit is certainly going to fit them. But the other reason you shouldn't be getting up close with Conduit is the fact that you've got lower stamina and lower recoveries. You're also gonna have to be praying to the dice gods anyway if you decide to do the pray action with piety. Because you better hope you don't roll a 1. especially with 18 as your starting stamina. So if you roll terribly on piety and roll well on the psychic damage you take, that could be particularly nasty. There is the I haven't looked through the full perk list, so I'm not discounting the possibility that there might be perk options that can give you additional stamina or additional recoveries. But point is, you're not a full glass cannon, but you are a little glassy.
Yeah. But I don't know. Between Conduit and Sensor, can't really decide which one I like best because both of them have their own strengths and weaknesses. And as I said with the Sensor before, all killer, no filler.
Yep. So next week we will be doing a non-divine, as we'll be doing more arcane stuff with the Elementalist. Which, from what I've seen with the Elementalist, I will do my best to not make any Avatar jokes. Though, a cursory glance at the Elementalist, I get more of the vibe of the Elementalist from Guild Wars, honestly. Both 1 and 2.
I do agree with that, actually. I really only remember the Elementalist from 1.
Mm-hmm. The 1 and 2 had 4 elemental stances that had a different set of abilities because of how it worked. But we also see some elements that aren't standard. And I think something else to note is so far with the classes, there's no class that has that is going to have the mad problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're picking Sensor, the main attribute you're going to be focused on is intuition. And I'm glad that the mad problem isn't present, because that. Look, I have beef because of my time with 3.5 era monks.
Mm-hmm.
And Star Pact Warlocks in 4th. I'm not sure who would fit the multiple ability dependency thing for 5th. I would argue Monk.
Yeah,
Again,
Monk did have a share of problems in 5th edition.
But with that said, that is going to do it for this week. As mentioned, we'll be doing the Elementalist next week. That should be interesting. And tomorrow will be session 0 for the Perils of Arrogance. So
Ooh.
Keep an eye out for that. That will certainly be interesting. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
See you on the train.
감세요 もいいよ、すごいよ。